Hey everyone, today I want to just go over casting on in a ribbing pattern. It can be used for 1x1 ribbing, 2x2 ribbing, 3x2 ribbing. In the example I'm using today, this is from my Spark sweater, and you can see the bind on here is cast on in ribbing. Now often patterns will tell us to bind off in ribbing for a neater edge, and I think the details make a big difference. So you can see here that I cast on in the ribbing, so the knit stitches, the cast on lines up and the purl stitches line up. The way to do this is using a long tail cast on, and we just use a variation of it. If you're not familiar with a long tail cast on, let me just give you a brief summary of how we can cast on here. Usually the tail that you'll need, the way that I calculate the tail is I wrap the yarn around the needle that I'm using 10 times loosely. So 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I take that length and I'll just fold it in half. If I needed 20 stitches, I would fold it in half once. If I needed 30, I'd fold it in half again. Okay, and then that is where we're going to begin our cast on. I drape it over the needle. And one thing about the long tail cast on is it creates the first row. So keep that in mind. Here on the Spark sweater, row 1 tells us to knit 1 because we have a selvage stitch, and then it continues with a knit 3, purl 2 ribbing that's repeated across. So here's going to be our first knit 1, and then we're going to set up to do a long tail cast on. So I insert my pointer finger and my thumb in the center. I use my other fingers to grab the yarn that's hanging down, and then it looks kind of like a slingshot. This counts as your knit 1, your selvage stitch, and then I'm going to knit 3, purl 2. So a regular knit is under the thumb. Grab the back piece of wool and pull it through the center, and then use your thumb to slide that up. So there's knit 1. Again, under the thumb, grab the back piece of wool, pull it through the center, slide it up. Another knit, one more knit, so under the thumb, grab that back piece of wool, pull it through the center and slide it up. So here we have our selvage and a knit 3. Now for the purl 2, you're in the same position, except this time you're going to come under here by your pointer finger. Let me show you again. You're picking that up, coming under, and then back through. And that is your purl stitch. Again, we're going to do another purl stitch. You're picking up underneath the piece on your pointer finger, under the center piece of wool, and then pushing it back through and slide that on. And you can see here you have your first knit, selvage, and then we begin the pattern. Knit 3, purl 2. I'll do that again, knit 3, so knit, 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 and then a purl is going to come under here, underneath that center piece, and then push it back through. We have 2 purls, so under here, pick up that center piece and push it back through. And this creates your first row